Cedric was talking a lot about the startups, about how we can bring in new technology, but also with the fresh new ideas and the new ideas that are so desperately needed. Now, you may well have seen, as you've walked around the hall already today, the great big signs for Initiate, and maybe have wondered what that is. Maybe you're new this year and thought, okay, what is this particular program? Should I be part of it? I'm pretty sure my next speaker will say absolutely yes, you should be part of it, and you should be having conversations with them. So please, from Initiate, a startup investment consultant, please welcome on stage Noortje van Heest. Noortje, thank you.
All right. Hi, can you hear me all? Yes, the mic's working? Thank you, Sasha, for introducing me. Today I would like to talk to you about Initiate and investing in early stage tech. Because the world is changing in some really profound ways. And I worry that investors and industry leaders are currently not paying enough attention to some of the biggest drivers of change. I believe that startups with innovative technologies are the driving force of the energy transition, and that investors and industry leaders should do more to give them a chance. My name is Noortje van Heest. I'm a startup investment consultant at Energy Investment Management BV. In my daily activities, I work on the financial due diligence analysis of wind, solar, and bioenergy projects. I advise cleantech startups, and I'm involved in the Dutch Cleantech Challenge and the Indonesian Energy Innovation Challenge. I also have extended experience in the startup industry at Get in the Ring, a global startup pitching competition, a Known Group, a technology scouting company, and the Erasmus Center for Entrepreneurship. In the past century, the energy sector has changed profoundly. Innovation in the field of renewable and alternative energy has been stimulated by the energy crisis of the 1970s and by recent concerns on climate change and energy security. Because we can no longer ignore a necessity of a global energy transition. The latest IPCC report indicated that such a shift is urgently needed in order to limit the rise in average global surface temperature below 2 or even 1.5 degrees. And as investigated by Bloomberg, renewables will make up 90% of the European electricity mix by 2040, while the global power demand will rise with 62% between now and 2050. Earlier analysis of the future energy pathway show that it's technically possible to achieve the 7th Sustainable Development Goal of the United Nations, focused on clean energy. Electric utilities and industry leaders, as incumbent actors, however, face a massive challenge in order to find new ways of creating, delivering, and capturing value from renewable energy technologies. Technological innovation, notably in the field of renewable energy, has the potential to drive this transition. Innovation is the principal source of economic growth and a key source of new employment opportunities and skills, as well as providing potential for realizing environmental benefits. And while innovations are being developed within the existing energy sector, the transition is not happening fast enough. Research addresses numerous reasons for this phenomenon, one of which is a strong need for commercialization of new clean energy technologies. And startups are an important source of these technologies. As a young professional in the energy sector, every day I see innovations with a lot of potential. The drivers of these entrepreneurs are similar to my own. They want to contribute to a better sustainable future and make impact. And they have developed the technologies to do so. One example of such a company is Hight Solar. Hight Solar has developed a production technology for producing flexible, lightweight, thin-film silicon sonar modules. Their product is an ideal solution for large flat roofs that are structurally too weak to hold the weight of traditional solar panels. Also, the Hight Solar cells are applicable to surfaces that are highly curved, which are normally also not suited for traditional solar panels. However, especially in the capital-intensive energy sector, such ventures like Hight Solar face a massive funding gap around the demonstration and first commercial stages of the project. This funding gap around the commercialization stage has been referred to as the Valley of Death. In the case of Hight Solar, the large utility company that partly owned the business recently decided to sell all its shares. Luckily, there was a business angel that showed his interest and made a restart possible. He invested in the company and is now active in the day-to-day business. To date, energy investment activities are not aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. Early-stage venture capital and private equity investments in renewable energy technologies even declined, while substantial increases are needed in order to combat climate change. Distinctive characteristics of the renewable energy sector, such as its high technological risks and capital intensity, are reasons why investors are not feeling comfortable of investing in these ventures. As part of my master in global business and sustainability at the Erasmus University, I'm conducting a research into the decision-making behavior of these investors in the renewable energy sector. The research aims to get more insights in how these investors perceive risks and how they make an investment decision. My research focuses on 3 types of investors: venture capital funds, business angels, and corporate venture capital parties. This slide shows some examples of these investors. The research firstly focuses on how these investors assess and have a preference for risks, and secondly, how this relates to how they make an investment decision. Evaluating and choosing between different types of risks is probably one of the most important psychological functions of the human system. Human beings have developed mechanisms in order to reduce the impact of risks. In the evaluation of a venture, investors adopt screening techniques with various criteria in order to assess the quality of a startup and to reduce the impact of investing in an unsuccessful one. But what are these criteria and how do these investors differ from each other? I recently met an informal investor or a business angel active in the renewable energy sector. And after years of experience in developing large-scale wind energy projects, he had collected enough capital in order to start investing in early-stage tech. When I asked him about his motivation, he told me that he liked it, because through these ventures he could share his experience and knowledge about the industry. He had invested in 3 potential breakthrough technologies, such as the torrefaction of biomass and the generation of wind energy from kites. But after our talk, I couldn't stop thinking how it was possible that an individual, informal investor like him saw these great opportunities, took the risk, and invested. Where are the larger institutional investors and the industry leaders? And why are they so hesitant to invest? In interviews with venture capital funds and industry leaders, more focus was either given to smart grid or software-related technologies, as these ventures showed clearer exit opportunities, required less capital, and showed shorter exit times. Energy investment is misaligned with where the world appears to be heading, and also far out of step with where it needs to go. It's not about the contribution of an individual like this informal investor. All industry leaders and institutional investors should step up their game. And the next generation has to be involved, as they will provide the talent and innovation needed in order to tackle this challenge. Because if you look around now, you'll realize that most of the people here will not be there till the end of the energy transition. Investing in the next generation talent is therefore highly important. I therefore am a proud ambassador of Initiate. The Initiate program is committed to stimulate the transformation of the renewable energy sector from the power generation side, by including all parties in the ecosystem with the intention to catapult the industry forward. Initiate looks at acquiring new talents and forming new partnerships to create positive change. If you'd like to hear more about Initiate, please come visit us at the Initiate Startup Pavilion. The photo on the slide shows a picture from the Dutch cleantech sector of a few years ago. It shows a group of enthusiastic young people, passionate to take the challenge and contribute to the energy transition. Because we're not there yet, The leaders of today have to embrace the technologies of the future. I would like to ask you all to invest, stimulate, and give entrepreneurs and young talent a chance. In that way, I believe that the energy sector as a whole can make a difference. Thank you.
Noortje, thank you very much. Thank you. Before you go, I think you've issued a bit of a challenge, and I'd like to know that the room has heard the challenge, because that is why you are here. You want to integrate, you want to talk about your ideas, your thoughts, and you have people who are ready to have those conversations, yeah?
Yes, indeed.
What would work really well for you? At the end of this week, what would you like to walk away from here knowing something really great has happened? What could it be?
I would like to ask if it's possible that every industry leader, utility, or someone from the industry goes back, walks into their corporate venture capital departments and tell them, listen, there has to be more risk capital available for investing in these startups because we need them and we have the money to do so. So that would be an amazing outcome for me this week.
Okay, how many hands would you now like to see raised if I asked the room if they were happy and proactively would like to come and talk to you, talk to your team, and then go back and take that message to the business? How many hands would you like to see?
I would like to see all hands.
Okay, well, who will actually pledge today to go through to initiate, to talk to some of the startups, to talk about some of the ideas that they have, and then talk about where the money comes from? Please raise your hand if you are willing to do that.
All right.
Okay. Thank you. And I've seen hands right at the back. I've seen hands here as well. Are you and your team in the room for a bit longer?
Yes, of course.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, we're going to break for lunch at 12:30. I would strongly advise you to go and speak to Noortje and then make maybe some interviews and some meetings later.
Thank
you. For
the
moment, from Initiate, thank you very much.